During the presentation last night, there was a segment, I guess, when you were at the Klan rally and stuff, and there was like one part that I wish you could explain more, and that was like when you said that ultimately you couldn't help but like them, and I was just kind of like curious as if you could explain that further. And I just like the comment that, you know, talking about homelessness and stuff, that it's really ironic to talk about it in the castle here, like on campus, because this is like, I don't know, I'm not sure if you're really familiar with it, because this is like one of the like supposedly wealthiest fraternities on campus and stuff. And I just think that's like really, well, it was. It was.
Well, I slept well here last night. I feel great in this place. About liking the Klan. I don't know if you were here earlier, you may have come in a little later, you know, but we're talking about very hurt, abused people here who then reenact their pain on others. The Klan is not even the worst these days. I was just picking up a hitchhiker down in Louisiana recently, who a poor white guy who talked about how, it took me long, just to make it short now, who I taped him, talked about how him and his brothers had, ever since his early childhood, killed so many blacks he couldn't even remember it. Count them on his fingers and his toes, dumped them in rivers, and he described in detail about how they wouldn't shoot them because they want to see the fear in their eyes first, you know. He kept saying things like, I don't hate niggers, I just don't like them, whatever. But, and his brother's now serving a life sentence for killing one of them. Most of them they never got them for. But when I talked to him, I asked him questions, has blacks ever harmed you, given you any harm? He even lived in a mostly black neighborhood. No, they never caused me any harm, which I knew was the case, in his case, you know. And then I asked him about his childhood, what had happened. And he had had terrible parents, you know. Both his parents were alcoholic. His father a shrimper who had beaten up those children day after day when he was there, drunk. He was usually never there. And his mother left them for days alone. Those two children ended up with, or three children ended up with so much anger against the world out there. And in the climate of Louisiana, you take your anger out on the blacks, as we know right now with the last election here. And he had to, as a result of that mistreatment, he had to go out and kill them. But as I said, now I feel there's hope for this guy, so therefore I wanted to help him. His brother is serving in prison, and he had a strong dominance over this guy here. So now when he was in prison, I felt that this guy, he's very young, he's trying to recover from this abuse and hurt and so on. And I felt he was on the right track now. So I want to sort of protect him. He does not deserve to go to prison. It was not, I mean, we're dealing with all this stuff in here. And I felt there was so much goodness in these people. He was struggling with, I constantly heard him say things like, we have got to learn to live together. Remember how hurtful it is for children to live totally segregated from each other and being told that this person, this group is different from you and so on. No child can understand this. And some people are going to reenact that pain out in that group eventually. But that doesn't mean that, I mean, yeah, you can only feel compassion for people who are so hurt, you know. And try to reach into them, which I love to do when I'm picking up these hitchhikers. There are so many of them in the South, and the more vicious looking they are, and the longer they've been standing out there, the more interesting they usually are, I feel. You don't ever pass such wild-looking hitchhikers because they can give you so much insight about society. I've been thinking about writing a book about just the hitchhikers I've been picking up in this country, because you could get a whole story about society. So you asked so many questions, you know. Yeah. Oh.
When you say that, I just get really scared because, like, I am so scared of these people because, like, in Denmark, I've tried, like, with their immigrants, and I got abused from them, and I can't trust people. Like, I think it's so unfair you're a man, because you can just go out there and you can do these things. I'm so scared that somebody's gonna...
Well, I want to say that most of those men here feel the same as you know. and especially when it comes to race, men have also been mistreated in this society and do not have do not have trust in people. In general, people in this country have lived in such a scary situation here that they simply do not trust other people.
And what I would like to, I mean, I'm trying to, but it's so hard because, like, now if I have to be honest, I see these disgusting things like people on drugs, and I can't stand it, and it scares me so much, and I don't know how to, overcome that and just relate to people, like you say, see the human in it.
It's very scary when you come from a more protected environment to suddenly end up in a situation like this one, and it is very oppressive. And at the same time, it is in conflict with your liberal beliefs that we want to hold on to our great, lofty ideals of equality and dignity for everybody, and land of opportunity and American creed and all this stuff. And something gets in the way down here constantly, and then you feel guilt. And you're crying out guilt right now, but we're locked up in this. It's a terrible situation now. You want to say more? No.
It's just like, but just this whole thing just leaves me so frustrated because, like, everyone is asking what to do, and it takes so much, like, and I'm sure we're all just gonna go out and after this here and be like, yeah, it touched me, and then you get into your old patterns and nothing is really gonna change, and it's just so.
That's why, because what you're already starting on here is what they are following up with afterwards. Get in touch with your own mistreatment, cry it out, and with the minute, it's good when you can cry. A lot of us been so hurt, and you know that, especially from lesser competitive schools. I know it very much. Children of blue-collar background, it is very hard for them to cry. I see most crying in schools where people have escaped a lot of the hurt and pain in society. We have lived more secure lives, but we feel hurt by the whole arrangement of things in society, and we must get therefore in touch with all this stuff here. Cry it out. It's a good thing.